Matt Bernier with the Stronach 5 for Friday, December the 7th. 5 races across the Stronach family of racetracks, 12% takeout, $1 base bet. We kick things off with the 9th race at Laurel, scheduled post time 4:51 Eastern. As I do with all these videos, I'm not giving you a ticket. I'm not telling you who I love and who I don't love. I'm just throwing out some ideas, some horses I would consider including, horses I would consider singling. But again, ultimately, you want to go through and you can play all of this wager with DRF Ticketmaker. Emphasize your opinions accordingly. The first race, the 9th at Laurel. 2 horses I would be most intrigued with, the 1 and the 10. The 1 is Taco Supreme. Highest last out buyer in the field with the 73. That run 2 starts back, if you believe the 87. This horse is a major player in a spot like this. And even having said that, couldn't quite beat Sonic Boom Ejet in that spot. I still believe this horse, with that tactical ability that he brings to the table, I feel like Taco Supreme is certainly one that you have to consider. Brought up Sonic Boom Ejet. The recent form leaves a little bit to be desired. The run 2 starts back, you can forgive that over a sloppy sealed racing surface at Parks, but the most recent start, I just didn't think was particularly strong. If you think you can get back to those runs 3, 4, and 5 starts back, you definitely have a big chance in here. I'm just going to kind of side against, but again, from a ticket maker standpoint, I would probably be including this horse as a B or a C. The other A that I would certainly be considering is the 10, Mr. Fix-It. Mr. Fix-It, thus far, in 5 lifetime victories, each one of them has come gate-to-wire fashion. But the most recent start, first off of the claim for Kieran McGee, at least gives me a little bit of confidence that perhaps this horse would be able to go and make up some ground. Passing horses you see got within a half a length and couldn't quite get the job done. Now, second start from McGee, I think that's a positive. You'll note that Taco Supreme was the horse that finished just a neck ahead of this horse, and accordingly, those are the 2 horses I would be most intrigued with, the 1 and the 10 in the first leg of Friday's Stronach 5. We move on to Gulfstream Park. Gulfstream for the first time featured in, real Gulfstream anyway, not Gulfstream West, for the first time featured in the Stronach 5. Race number 9, it's a non-winners of one other than 7.5 furlongs on the turf. This is one where, to be frank, I wouldn't be using anyone other than the number 9, Good Things Take Time. I've thought very highly of this filly. I think she's quite good. I've liked her in some stakes action in the past. Always have maintained that she is better at a flat mile, and you know what? This 7.5 furlongs is actually going to be much more to her benefit, I believe. I think these certain distances, a mile and 16th, are just a little bit too far for her. And take a look at some of the names that she's run against. We know what Got Stormy was capable of when she was on her tear. You see a horse like Colonia, who I think is quite good for Grand Motion. Daddy is a Legend, who just ran second last weekend in the Matriarch down at Del Mar in a grade 1 against older horses. Good Things Take Time. She's going to be a very short price. She's going to be a very heavy single, or heavily used, I should say, for a number of these tickets. If she loses, you're probably setting yourself up for a potential carryover situation. I think she's just going to be much for this group, and I would be singling the number 9, Good Things Take Time, in the second leg down at Gulfstream. Now we go to the West Coast. The third race at Golden Gate Fields is the third race of the Stronach 5 sequence. It's a $5,000 maiden claimer. 3 horses I'd be most interested in, the 1, the 6, and the 10. The 1 horse is Our Eagle Has Landed. Kind of hard to trust this horse. We're starting to go down that path of potential career maiden, 0 for 7 lifetime, and has really just lived in that sort of low to mid 50 sort of range with the buyers. But having said that, those numbers are good enough to get the job done here. The horse that finished just ahead of this one in the most recent start was a winner next out. And keep in mind, this one is getting some significant class relief, most recently in the maiden $16,000 range. And prior to that, had been living in sort of the maiden special weight numbers. So maybe getting down to the $5,000 maiden claiming rank is going to be the thing that gets this one over the top. If you can't win here, you might be on a path to career maiden score. The number 6 horse is Hot and Naughty. Highest last out buyer in the field with a 57. That came in the second lifetime start. I think if you get a forward move or a comparable effort there, this one has a big chance coming from a little bit off the pace. And the number 10 is Exclusive Code. This one was in a maiden $8,000 claimer back at the end of August, has been gone since then. The winner that day was the next out winner, Chatterman. But I do look at it and say, this horse has run well enough in the past with a few buyers over 60. Makes me think that if this one shows up with a respectable effort, should be right there at the wire. So 1, 6, 10 for me in the third leg of the Friday Stronach 5. We move on to the 10th race at Gulfstream Park. It's the fourth leg. It's a state bred maiden special weight race for 2-year-olds on the main track. 4 horses I'd be most intrigued with, the 2, the 3, the 7, and the 13. The 2, Seismic Jolt. I'd be throwing this horse in there because this horse has run relatively fast for the level at this point. acknowledging that trying the main track, that's kind of a great unknown. I prefer the Cantharos babies over on the turf. You see, they paid $800,000 for this horse. The early speed should be beneficial, but having said that, there is some other speed in this race. So I don't know that it necessarily separates Seismic Jolt from anyone else. I think this is one you need to use, but I can understand anyone that goes and approaches this horse cautiously. The 3 and the 7, I think you kind of, if you like one, you should probably use both of them. The 3 is Follow His Footsteps. The 7 is He's Smoking Hot. Of the two, I would prefer the 7, He's Smoking Hot. This is a horse that most recently debuted going out for Joe Orsino. 30-1, came with a nice rally from off the pace. Keep in mind, Gulfstream Park West, very difficult to make up ground on that main track. I thought the fact that this one did run as well as he did, I thought that was positive. You get Paco Lopez aboard this time around. As far as the 3 is concerned, this is a horse that's shown speed in each of the first 2 lifetime starts and faded. In theory, he had the track working for him in each of those first 2 starts, now arguably facing tougher horses this time around. Still think you want to use him. Don't know that you want to put most of your eggs in this one's basket. And the other horse to consider is the one that's probably going to be the favorite when it's all said and done. That's going from the far outside, the number 13 Winning Drive, going out for Jason Service, Arad Ortiz with the mount. Showed speed in the career debut back in the middle of September at Delaware Park, but down to 3-5 and couldn't get the job done. There was a horse that went out there and opened up and won by 5 lengths. You would imagine the outside draw, you're going to take up a stalking position. Jason Service, we know he's having an epic season this year, 32% as far as the winners are concerned. Irad, we know what he's capable of as well. If you think that there is speed drawn down to the inside, I think Winning Drive just takes up that stalking position and tries to go and get the job done if good enough. Those would be the 4 that I'd be most intrigued with. There are some other intriguing horses that are either second-time starters or first-time starters. If Art G is back down on the inside, didn't draw the rail, I'd be more inclined to use that horse, but that inside post, that's no bargain, going out for Ron Spatz. And then the final leg, If You Are Alive in the Stronach 5. We go back out to Golden Gate. The 4th race, it is a conditioned claiming event. $3,200 is the level. There's really only one horse that interested me in here. I'm sure if I was really inclined, I would spread a little bit deeper and use some backups, but I think the 7 Preacher's Bluff, just from a figure standpoint, from an overall form standpoint, an overall body standpoint, this one just seems to make the most sense. Most recently in a starter allowance, finished 4th, beating a length, but the highest last out buyer in the field with a 74. 2 starts back. I know it was on dirt as opposed to synthetic. Was a winner at the N1 in a year, or non-winners have won in a certain period of time sort of race. But this one has run well enough on synthetic in the past. 10 for 44 overall. You see 17 other times second or third. I also like the fact that this one has a little bit of versatility. I think the best running style is probably still more mid-pack than anything. But if for some reason there is no pace that is signed on, you can be a little bit more aggressive here. There are other horses that are, I would consider them fringe contenders or have races in the past that would make them competitive, but their recent form leaves a little bit to be sort of desired. I mean, a horse like Fair Advantage has shown in the past the ability to run, but now you have to wonder, 4 for 50 lifetime, 14 times second or third. The recent form is spotty at best. There are a number of those kind of horses in here. At least I know Preacher's Bluff is coming into this in relatively good form. That would be the one that I'd be most intrigued with in the payoff leg of this Friday's Stronach 5 for December the 7th. Again, those of you unfamiliar with the sequence or the races, you get 5 races, all of them from the Stronach family of racetracks, 12% takeout, $1 base bet. The first race, leg A of the Stronach 5 on Friday afternoon, begins with the 9th race at Laurel Park. Scheduled post time for that, 4:51 Eastern. Good luck.